Eins, zwei, drei. Hello! Welcome to Gen Z Meets World podcast.
I am Aeshah.
I'm Ahmad, and today we'll be talking about making friends.
How you make friends, why you make friends,
What is a friend?
what is a friendship, what friend, why is it important to have friends, do you need to have friends,
Yes.
The effect of like friends in our
Friends
life
in general.
and about you being a friend too,
Yes.
because like everyone, as how you have friends, you are a friend, so how do you become a good friend, and etc.
So, I guess, first of all, for context.
Yeah, for context, because like this is going to be like the context of like our topic will be more on like making friends at university, although not exclusively, but that will be like our focus, since the theme of the season is like university themed, university encoded, that's how we say it. So we will be referring to making friends in university, but it's not exclusive to that. And for context, another context, like preface, I am now in university. Yay! Previously, in like previous episode, I just finished my pre-university studies. I haven't gotten into a university yet. Now I am already in a university. I am now reading law at the Ahmad Ibrahim Kuliah of Laws.
Oh, that's cool. That's the same university I'm in.
No, you're not in Ahmad Ibrahim Kuliah of Laws.
Yeah, I said university, not...
I didn't say university. Okay, I'm in International Islamic University of Malaysia, which, yes, is the same university. He's still in his foundation. He'll finish November,
yes.
and then he'll start his undergraduate studies next year.
March.
Yeah, so that's the
I'll
context.
be marching into the university in March.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay, so friends.
Can you put one in the sun and make it grow?
Okay.
Okay, so friends, I guess first of all we have to like understand what is the definition of a friend first.
Yeah. What's the internet definition? Like the English Oxford? I don't know.
I haven't gotten to check that
we'll
one
paste
yet.
it here.
We'll paste it here.
Yeah.
That's an interesting definition from Oxford. But my definition, my definition will be,
because like friends can mean different. In general, friends like a companion. Someone you live with, someone who's like with you, or like in life.
Another person that you
are close
have
with as a companion.
Has a close
relationship,
certain degree of a close relationship with them.
Yeah. But different people define friends differently. How close is a person? Like, what's the threshold of friend? Some people view a person as acquaintance, but another person may view another person of that degree of closeness as friends.
Yeah.
So
it will vary, definitely, but basically there's that relationship. So in my case, how my I would say like the criterion for my friends would be first of all there a certain level of peers with me.
A certain level of peers, what does that mean?
I cannot English
Fine
at the moment.
You cannot English.
It means
the
that
age group.
Not just age, but
like the circle.
They're in a certain circle. They share a certain
circle with you.
Circle with me.
Yeah.
Whether it being age, interest, or So
interest, or like what you're doing right now. Like you're both studying at the same place.
Yeah, but not necessarily. But yes. So if there's like a few circles that are
interlap,
like the Venn diagram. When they interlap.
Interlap.
That's a word.
It's okay.
Yeah. Overlap.
Oh. That's true.
Overlap. When they overlap, then they have a chance of becoming a friend. And then
a higher chance. The more it overlaps with you, you're a circle. One circle is you, and the other circle is the other person. The more you overlap with that person, the more higher chances of being friends. Okay.
So that's the first thing, and then the second one would be that you will meet them again, or somewhat have that means of communicating again. Then yes, that will I would say like fit into the category that will be qualified to become a friend of mine.
I think how I define friend is mostly because, like, in general, most of the time I spend a lot of time alone. Because sometimes social situations overwhelm me a bit. But there are times, well, first of all, no, let's not get there. How I define friend is when I look forward to meeting that person.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, that person is a friend. I mean, okay, if I just met a person, I look forward to meeting them, or I look forward to meeting them again. Yeah, technically it's not friend yet.
Yeah.
But like, if I enjoy spending my time with them and I look forward to meeting them again, then yes, I see them as a friend. But then one thing that I find to be interesting in defining friend is that if you take, like, translating friend, for example, like, in the concept of Malaysia, if you translate friend to like kawan in Malay, kawan is like a lot more general.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah.
your close friends would be like your sahabat or your teman sejati. But in general, otherwise, like, kawan is like more general.
Rakan is more broad. For me, I would say.
For you, I'm saying, like, in the general use.
Yeah. In the
Kawan is like, like acquaintance sometimes is already kawan.
It's already kawan, yeah.
Instead of kenalan. Like, I would have it as kenalan, but general use, kawan is like, you meet them often.
Yeah.
Kawan na tu.
Kawan na tu, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you can offend a person if you say, if they find out that you don't see them as a friend because they view you as a friend, but because for them, the friend that you're defining, that's a close friend.
Yeah.
But that's a long story.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting thing to ponder on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it goes back to, like, even rakan and kawan has like different connotations somewhat. For me, I would say like rakan.
I think rakan is like the general term, like,
for
that's why you have like rakan sebaya.
Yeah.
Rakan.
It's like peers.
Yeah, it's like peers almost.
So rakan sebaya is peers of age.
Yeah.
Rakan, and there can be like, rakan kerja.
Yeah.
It's your workmates.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily friends. You're just workmates.
But kawan is like someone you often talk with. Yeah, like kawan.
Yeah, like kawan.
Yeah.
There's the relationship in kawan,
but
not necessarily.
But maybe
close
generally people do use friend generally.
I think people do somewhat, but it goes back to the interpretation as well.
So don't be offended if you find out someone does not see you as a friend. You're still a cool person.
Yeah. Because it's just how you name, how you put the friend. That's basically, I think, the interesting part in seeing this whole thing. But then, how was your experience? At least during your first few weeks of at university.
My experience of
meeting people
friends.
And making friends. Yeah.
Meeting people, like perception when I meet a person, or like
I
my
guess that will be
feeling.
Interesting as well. Your perception, like your inner response to meeting people.
Okay, here's the fun story.
Yeah.
When I interviewed for a place, I call for short. iCall is my brain could have lost. When I interviewed for a place at iCall, the person who interviewed me, one of the people, there were like, a few lecturers at iCall who was interviewing me. One of them was the Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs of iCall. So I remember that, like, he kept on mentioning it, but then definitely at the end of the interview when he asked, like, do you have any more questions? I was like, what can I do to prepare myself? So after he gave like some reading materials and stuff like that, reading suggestions, he mentioned that I am too much of a recluse. I sit too much alone. University is not about, being alone. It's not just about the academics. You have to make friends. You have to socialize. You have to learn to, etc. You can't be a lone ranger and live alone. So when I got into university, I came in with this perspective of like, I'm not a recluse. I'm not socially inept, because he also mentioned that because I'm homeschooled, so chances are I don't make as much friends or don't know how to make as much friends. And I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. It's true that I am a little bit more of a person like who sits alone, but I don't think it's related to homeschooling. Like, you are also a product of homeschool, and you're like probably the most friendly person a person has ever met.
I'm the most homeschooled.
Everyone who meets you would think they're your friend, so So
I'm the most homeschooled
yes,
one of our siblings.
you've never been to
I've
school
never
at
been to
all.
school at
I've been
all.
to school. So
Literally the first time I went to school for a purpose of going to school
was when you
for
took
my
your exam,
for my examination,
SPM.
and I was
Yeah.
like just about
Wow.
a week at school, and I graduated school.
Yay! So so I disagreed with it so much,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm going to prove it wrong. And so I went to university with like this mindset of like making friends. So every time someone like okay, but then I do have to admit I don't know how exactly to approach people in general. But when I am approached, I'm like, okay, they ask for my name, I ask them back for their name. They ask me what am I studying, I ask them back what they are studying, and then like smile, friendly, etc. But like I still don't get like as much friends from that. And then but like I come with like that positive idea of like making friends, so like in a way I'm like kind of like excited. So like at least even if I'm not, I mean close friend for me I think comes with the context of like how long you've been with each other, how much you know each other, and etc. So it's impossible for you to just find a close friend in a week, except if like for some reasons you just connect so well, you know. Yeah, like I mean technically there's this person who was Ahmad's friend at the foundation. So she already got into undergraduate studies, so we just met and then we talked and then we enjoyed talking so much and then we just talked and then so like that can happen in a week. We're already like close friends.
There's already there's context.
True,
well.
But it's also true that
true.
So that can happen, but in general it takes time for you to become a close friend. However, so I was like, excited to meet people and make friends and etc. And I think the thing that helped me making friends, there's going to be like two parts of the story. One is like during my orientation week, and then the other is like during when I already started like the studies. So during my orientation week, most of the people it's hard for you to make very lasting friendship except if you exchange numbers, because you're like meeting everyone all the time. You're like rushing from one event to another event.
You won't be, unless if you really stick together, then you won't really be together.
Like you don't know where are you housed at, and etc. Like I sat with a new person beside a new person every day.
You could be,
it's your roommate. Yeah.
Then,
but
then you can
other than that,
go out together and such.
But other than that, it's like
it's still quite early to really.
There is one person who was like, let's exchange numbers, so we sometimes text, but like still you never meet them again. Because they come from different kuliahs and etc. faculties and etc. So it's like very random. However, I signed up, like I was like they had like IIUM part of the orientation week. At the end of the orientation week, they have this like swearing in ceremony where you declare an oath to like pledge your allegiance of like
and like sort of like a promise to not violate any laws and
stuff like
things,
that. So which I love so much. So I was like, oh, I love the oath because I already know of the oath. So I was like, I love the oath. And then they're like, any volunteers to like they have like this group of people who would like read at the microphone and then the rest of the people follow. So I was like, I volunteer. And especially because like that was the first day and I was feeling so touched and honored about how I'm finally in university. I was like feeling so emotional. And then it's like, any volunteers? And like A, I relate to that oath. B, I'm like in university, I want to be a big part of it. And then C, I'm like trying to get out of my shell of like like meeting people and etc. So I was like, so when they had an audition and they selected the people, so we do meet with that I do meet with that circle of people often. So those eventually we do like talk a lot, and then in a way we do to certain different degrees. Like some of them you get closer, some of them a bit less close perhaps, but you do meet them often, and then you become friends and etc. So that was my orientation week. I honestly, having that experience really made the orientation week a lot more memorable for me. If I did not sign up for that and meet that group of people, having like all these shared experiences, it would have been a different experience, but I feel like it would have been less memorable, less unique, and, you know, exciting and fun. And that's how you can see like one of the pros of like having friends. And then in the context of like starting like university, when I started my studies, there are people I have to admit I still haven't made like very close friends yet, but then there are people who I've talked with, or they approached me and we talked about the studies and we look at each other's notes, who like I feel like, ooh, this is like someone I want to be friends with, because like I like what they bring to the table, what they talk about, and then, you know, the discussion of ideas. I like their attitude or approach towards studying, and, you know, so yeah. That's my experience. If you want an experience of like first meeting. How about your experience?
My experience was definitely a bit different. First of all, I skipped orientation week because I got the offer letter after the orientation week has ended.
Yes.
And secondly, I had 5 months of online university before moving to physical life, I would say, 5 months ago. So physical learning, yes. So during the time, you know, the 5 months, especially without the orientation week, I think with the orientation week I might have made more friends because, you know, you get to know each other and such. But then without the orientation week, I started out with the class itself,
an online class where everyone's cameras is off.
Yes, except for like just a few people. So yeah. So we have like during the first times, the first few days, I was just looking forward to learning these subjects I'm going to learn. Wait, what subject I'm going to learn this semester? What's going to be learning next semester?
You're just like trying to sort out the whole learning thing because everything's a rush and sudden.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not thinking about making friends at all.
Like, I think maybe the thought of it did come through when I had my first class. There's like a bunch of people, and then this one person who knew me, who contacted me after that, and we talked to each other. But it's like not exactly looking forward to make friends kind of thing.
I mean, similarly, if I did not have that deputy dean telling me, you know, I would most probably have gone in with a different mindset. Because in general, I do not think about making friends the first thing.
So when I think the first time that the thing that made me think about making friends was during the final exams for my first semester in March. That's already 3 months into university, into foundation, and so ironically, the ICT exam, we had a technical problem. A very
ICT exam, I get the irony.
So like. The system crashed and the exam had to be postponed. So while the whole thing was being sorted out, and like they would tell, you know, going to announce when it's going to be postponed to and such, basically the entire human science students, everyone just hung out in the group. Common group for human science students. And we're just chilling, you know, talking about things, because that's like, I think that's the most active moment on the chat since I came in. So that was when I talked to a lot of people who I did not know because they're not in my section at all. And that's when I, you know, got to know a lot of people, and I was like, oh, I haven't made that much friends yet, you know. Aside from like some of my classmates, but even so, I didn't really interact outside talking about
general stuff. That's not
like class stuff
related.
Right. Like, you know, like specifically class, or one of them talked about the debate and just that. Nothing else. Like just university things.
Yeah, you've never talked about general stuff.
Yeah, never talked about general stuff. So that was like, oh, I haven't done this yet, so I should start. Fast forward to the next semester, which is just a month after that one. We had I was placed in like different sections for different classes, and so I had like a larger selection of people to talk to. Talk with.
Yeah. Sorry.
So with that larger selection of people, I, you know, automatically made more friends. It was online for the first 4 weeks before we moved to physical learning. kind
On
of
campus.
like on campus, like
Yeah.
immediately, suddenly, and then we kind of panicked. And then when we're there,
Yeah, I remember the moment of panic.
Yeah.
I was like a week into my exam, and I had to go out with you to look for stuff for you to bring to campus. I'm like, I have an exam in a week. I have no time for this.
I mean, I will not really mind, but not saying that you weren't needed, but like in my mind at that time, I was like, yeah, I can just go on my own, like looking for all these things on my own.
Sure.
Yeah, surely,
Definitely.
definitely,
Definitely.
definitely. So that was when I started to make more friends because when you're interacting physically, I know a lot of these people already from not just from classes, but even from like other programs related to the university, or even not related to the university, but a lot of the university students attend. And so specifically one of them, after I registered and I got into my room and I got back out to like take my bags, and I saw that guy there, and I was like, hey, I remember you. And he said, oh yeah, I remember you. That's the first person I met who I recognized. And I won't say that we were friends yet then, but then we did make friends after
It opened up.
It opened up, yeah. So and I made a lot of friends, even those that I've never met before, or we've never had any contacts before. We still make friends. So it's definitely easier when
it was a physical.
Because
yeah, which I think brings to the interesting point where you can see like sort of like the contributing factors into having friends or making friends.
Yeah.
Like one is like you want to make a friend. Like if you're not open to interacting and interactions, obviously you won't be getting friends, But also, like, there are so many other factors, like things like, for example, how much time you spend with each other, the mode of interaction. Like, it's true that you can have online friends, but like, say for example, in the sense of like online learning versus physical learning, the physical interaction, you definitely are going to have closer, stronger relationships.
I think in my
because
case,
of like,
the reason why I make less friends online rather than physical in university is because I came to the university with a mindset, like the goal to study there rather than to socialize.
It's true, but then like with online learning, it's because you don't even like with physical learning, when you go into a classroom, you're just there to study. But when you go into a classroom, you would have these people around you who you interact with. And your online learning,
you don't talk to each other
in general.
It's like you only talk to them if you have context, but
no, you can talk with them. Like some people do.
That's true.
But like in general, like even if you do, the degree or like the amount you talk with each other, how what kind of conversations you have, like the interaction is a bit different, and sometimes you don't even see each other.
Exactly. So like and then there's like in like physical learning, you don't only have the studying time.
There's even those random times you pass by and you see a person and you say hi.
You see them many times. You greet them without knowing each other, and
like perhaps you don't have like a close relationship where you know about each other a lot, but when you see them often,
there are I would say like quite a few people who I don't, even till now, I don't know their name. But you see them. I see them, and we're kind of like, and I don't think that they know my name as well. Yeah. So like, you just have that connection based on the fact that you.
In some ways, they're in your head, like they're like
and
that
you always
person you
like
always
just bump into each other often. Something
and
like the
that opens up to a possibility of having
a friend.
Because
I'm sure if I were to like ask their name and like we can become friends because you know. And then there's like there's like many social situations like eating when you will be in like a large social situation.
When during like my orientation week, there was this one time when I was eating beside a river alone because I'm just eating. It's not like I want to be alone at the moment. I'm just eating. I didn't think that I should be sitting with others, but then there was this group of people who were like, hey, why are you alone, come eat with us. And like you don't have that in online orientation week. It just doesn't happen. And so like I sat with them, then now every time we meet each other, the first time we met each other again, I didn't recognize them, and I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. But then like every time I like commit their faces in my memory, because like what they did was like sweet and very considerate and nice. So that every time we meet each other, we're like, hi, you know, like that wouldn't exist otherwise. So that's true.
I often, the thing is that, you know, I think partially because I'm homeschooled, partially maybe just a certain
there's also character
within me as well. But like automatically by default, I will not think of doing things with other people. So for example, eating, I would just, you know, take my food and just eat
sit
somewhere wherever I have, you know. There can be like someone beside, and there can be like nobody, whatever. I just want the closest seat to the sink, and also the comfortable seat, and the table's clean, and the seat is also clean. And
so you're fine.
Preferably there'll be cats around. You know, so like, you know, I would just look for not like I'm choosing to isolate myself from everyone else. But then I'm eating alone. But if there's people, you know, wanting to eat wanted to eat with me, I will be open to that, and I do not mind. And sometimes people do invite me to eat with them, and I do not mind. But then some people still ask like, why are you eating alone? And I'm like, no, I know, I'm just eating. It's, you know, it's not like I wanted to eat alone. Otherwise, I'll probably eat in my room or something. Because for most people who want
look for a secluded place,
because for most people
in a way, I do look for a quieter place, which tends to be there's no one around.
I look for a quieter place if there's a place that's too noisy.
Right.
Like, you know, it's probably like some rowdy event going on or something. I'll move aside. But if there's people there, don't mind. Or either that, or if I'm on the phone, then I will look for the furthest place. Because
it's courtesy. So like, you know, so like there's also that factor, and then there's also of course like shared interests and those kind of things.
So, you know, there's many things.
How much time you spend with each other.
There were a few situations where I did make friends because we did, you know, similar things, and get to know each other from there, and then eventually we became friends.
I mean, because when you want to become a friend, you have to converse with them a lot. You know, if you don't have shared interests, it's a bit hard. Like, you can again, it goes to your definition of friend, you know. So if your definition of friend is just like someone who you see, like some people are so friendly and they're friends with everyone, they're genuinely friends with everyone, you know, but they still won't be like super close friend with a person who doesn't have the same interests. So shared interest is definitely a large contributing factor into, like, you know, whether or not you can be friends or how you choose a friend, you know. But then, because like a friend is someone who you spend a lot of time with, that is a friend. I mean, again, it goes to the definition of friend. If you view acquaintances as friends, you know, you may not have to spend a lot of time with each other. But in general, your close friends, definitely your close friends.
Yes.
You know, you need shared interests because you would be talking with them, spending time with them, and so...
In general, you will have to have like
some common interest to be able to spend a lot of time with each other. But I think another thing to look into is that if you are spending a lot of time with each other, then what is that impact? What is the impact of that friendship to you? You know? Because like... we are what we
are surrounded by.
No. We, like, who we are today is based on our memory or like our past experiences. So if you spend a lot of time doing certain things with certain friends,
that will be the past. That's the experience that you face.
Yeah, and that would shape who you are. So what is the impact, you know, of like friends to you? I think that is like something that you want to be wary of, and aware of, you know. Is it a positive impact? Is it a negative impact? Do you think it impacts you at all? It does, to a certain degree, you know.
It does to quite a degree. Yeah,
that's true. Like, not just in the sense of like, there's so many factors into it. How they talk would affect how you talk, or rather how you guys interact with each other would affect how you interact with other people. Because that's what like it builds like, habits.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can have like a separation between how you interact with your close friends and how you interact with your non-close friends.
Like how we interact with each other is different from how we interact with people outside. Like each other as in like me and Ahmad when we're at home. Yeah.
So But then at the same time,
it
there
would
would
still
be
shape
there will be
you.
a certain degree of influence from that.
Yeah.
Because it habit
Yeah,
goes back to
habit.
habits, because you will be used to that.
It
and
builds your personality.
Yes. So because going back to the whole point of nothing can be built from nothing, because everything is built based on the things that you see.
Yeah.
You can only think of something constructed based on your knowledge, which is collected from the environment that you've experienced. So from there, obviously, what you're surrounded by
and who you're surrounded by, and what you spend your time on,
and who you spend your time with,
will
have that effect on you,
on your person. So I guess into the question of like what is in a friendship, you kind of want to look into the question of what is the role of like friends in your life. What's the role of having friends, and what is the role of your friends in your life?
And then also, what's the role of you as a friend
to other people's lives?
Yeah.
So, which I think the role for me, I think the role of a friend, because it is true, as how much I believe that deputy dean was like kind of like, you know, saying like making it seem as if I'm just socially inept. It's true that I don't spend as much time with other people, which on one hand is true, it can just be characters, but it's also true that you can learn a lot from others, especially if you're in like at university. There's so many people who can teach you something new, you know, inshallah good things, but you know, like new things and like things you've never thought of. Like for example, that time I spent talking with that friend, like that helped me grow. Even though it was like not as much time, it challenged my thinking. It made, for example, it made me more excited to think about these kind of things. It made me think about these things even when I'm not, you know, it's like passively it comes up with an effect. Even when I'm no longer talking with her, I remember the conversation and I think about the things we talked about, you know. So friends in a way can really help you a lot. And in this world, it's impossible. It may be possible, but it is very hard for you to live alone without any companions. And companions can really benefit you. So like, the role of a friend, I guess, is like to help you grow as a person. Friends are people who help you grow. The definitive definition of friend that should exist in anyone's definition of friend, and if it doesn't, then you should ponder back on it, is that a friend is someone who helps you grow and you help them grow. Yes. You know? Because
friendship is something that's equally two-way, you know?
Yeah.
It cannot be
a one-way relationship
or something. So you will, whatever that the person has to
it's
do to you.
It's like when a person sends you a friend request on Facebook and you do not respond back.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. You know, you need that. You need that. Both of them need to accept it. Unlike on Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, where you can you can add someone as a friend, but you're So where was I just now? Friends, yes. So whatever that you expect or whatever that the person should do to you is also what you should do to them. You know, like.
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Treat others how you want to be treated, and you should treat others how people should treat you. So, like, not only how you want it, but how they should treat you.
Like the social responsibility.
How you deserve to be treated by them.
That's too convoluted.
But you get what I mean, right? So, it's something that's mutual.
Yeah.
And which is why I guess it goes back to the point of why you want to make friends is, well, you want to make yourself better. So by that you will
the objective of life is like to make yourself better, to help others become better, and to make the world better.
So
why should you have friends?
Is to make yourself better
and to help them.
Others, you know, by becoming friend to others. And then that will in result turn the society into a better
place.
A better
situation.
Just to make the
into a
society
better
better.
society.
Yeah, to society into better society.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's like I think the biggest role of like friendship. And then definitely if like we're talking about in context of university, friends are the people who help, like how is it like helps you grow. One is definitely character, someone who motivates you to do good things and you motivate them to do good things, productive things, beneficial things, people who motivate you to get out of bad habits, and etc. And then there's also, of course, if like you're talking about university, like study friends. Yeah, so like people who help you study or motivate you to study, come up with like new tips, you guys share notes, those are good friends. So
help understand the thing better and learn together in general.
Yeah,
because sometimes it's not just when you're facing a problem and you ask for your friend's help, it's not just you who are learning, but even the person teaching, the person helping you will be learning from helping you understand.
Yeah, there is this person, I can't remember who said that the best way to learn something is to teach it. Yeah. Because when you teach, you really constructively break it down in your head.
Especially like recently when my friend asked me to help with a subject, and the problem is that he's facing some problems with English. Understanding English words. So I had to break it down in Malay and then translate it back to English so that he can understand it in English as well. Breaking it down in a different language. Breaking it down in the first place is already hard. It's already challenging and making me understand it better. And then to translate it into another language that's not just literally translating it, but actually
translating the concept into a different language.
Like I literally did not use the
direct translation.
Like the direct material. I had to make something new to fit in the context. And to make that concept back into English what really helped me to understand the subject, which I thought I already understood.
So you realize that you don't understand. You never know what you don't know until you know it.
Yes. Until you know that you do not know. Like,
then you don't know.
Even though you know that you do not know, you will not know how much until you know.
That's why the people who goes like, I know things is probably the people who's like, you don't know things.
So it all goes back to the whole mutual
But what
thing.
if we don't know that knowing again? Sorry.
It goes back to the whole mutual thing where yes, you're asking for help because you need help, but it also helps the other person as well. And if something only benefits one side, it doesn't mean that it's something bad. Like for example, if you need to help
doing a person a favor can be beneficial for you.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like even if it seems to just
only benefit a person,
only one person,
it may actually
benefit both the other as well.
That's true. And sometimes people do things like trading knowledge. Like a person doesn't know. Let's say, for example, one person doesn't know how to solve. Okay, I'm learning law, so one person has problems with law of contracts, and then the other person has a problem with law of torts. So one person help each other, and then they discuss. Like one is that they get to trade that knowledge and learn the other field, but another is that discussion really helps you grow.
Yes.
I remember one of the things that I remember was we were like a few months back, we met our ustad who was teaching us falak. So he like one of the people who was also learning, she asked me like something she didn't understand, and I explained it to her, and then the ustad said, like our teacher, he said like when you help that person, it isn't just that person understands it, but I also would understand it, because that discussion, that breaking down the concept,
it develops the knowledge in your
understanding.
In your understanding.
It makes things clearer. I realized perhaps I didn't realize some faults in my understanding. Now I realize, hold a second, that doesn't make sense. So like that discussion really helped you out, and especially in university where chances are you're not understanding half of the things that you're learning, like it's like such a rapid speed. That discussion will really help you, so it doesn't just make you a better person like as an individual, it also helps you out, you know, in the general skills and stuff. And I guess, again, back to the point, you should realize how much of an impact friends have on you, and that's why you want to choose the right people to surround yourself with.
And why you want to
become
the right people to surround
be
other
surrounded
people.
by.
No, to surround other people
Yeah,
with,
surround.
you know?
Yeah.
So, as how the world is a circle. What comes around. So, you by becoming a better
not
person,
just what comes around. Like it. You're not the center of the universe. Yeah.
So like it's as small as it seems.
You
know the impact that you would put onto others is actually as big as just that one random person onto you. So you will have to change that one bit.
Yeah. Build yourself into a better person so that you can be a good friend to others, and then you know, look for good people to help yourself grow. So like I think this right now, me going to university, is like the most open I've tried to make myself become, you know, because like when I first went to school at kindergarten, preschool level, I was just there to learn. Because I was like, I'm at school with my bag, like I sit down, study. Like recess, I never spend my time outside of the class. We have classes, we have assembly classes, break time where we eat. The moment I finish eating, I go back into the classroom, even though there's no classes. I just sit in my classroom, like, waiting for next time. And then teachers come in. Don't you want to go and play outside? I'm like, so. And then when I went to grade school, the only friends I had were like other people who would want to learn with me.
Yeah.
So basically, my communication was I sit down, do homeworks with them.
Yes.
You know,
and everything is on the basis of learning.
I have no clue what they like to eat. These friends I have in my mind, I have any personal information about them. You know, I only know that there's this one guy who was my friend. He likes cats. Nothing else, you know, like it's so basic. So, and then eventually when I got out of school, you know, we were homeschooling, I did have friends like, you know, in like the work that we've done and stuff, our volunteer work and activism work, etc. Like those people who we worked with, we did make friends with them and, you know, we talk with them. But most of that relationship was just on the basis of, well, for me, you know, maybe for you it wasn't, but for me, most of those relationship was just like discussion of ideas.
Yeah.
I barely know any personal information about them, you know, like you don't even spend time to talk about personal things.
I mean, in my case, some of them I don't even have like that kind of like discussion of ideas, rather just kind
discussion
of
work.
Discussion of work, literally, yes.
So like it's not like a necessarily bad thing if like that's your only interaction with your workmates or whatever. In some situations, it can be healthy to not mix that personal and work life. But it is, what I mean to say is that I've never actually gotten into an environment and like been like, let's make friends, you know?
Yeah.
And like got into it and made friends. So this is a new, I'll admit, this is a new experience for me. Like trying to be as like when a person comes out and you like smile, and my constant thought when someone comes to me is like smile, to ask them their name, to ask them which faculty they're from, what are they studying, how are they doing, you know?
I mean, I guess for me that's a bit more it comes a bit more natural for me.
I don't usually do
despite
that.
Like I still put that some level of conscious effort into it, but then the things that come into my mind were more natural. Like I don't really have to process that, but rather just initiate,
open yourself up. Yeah.
So like, and then everything just runs automatically. Like, what do I want to
I
ask
remember
them?
once upon a time when people come up to me and go like, "Hi," for example, I'm going like, you say to me like, you know, "Hi, I'm Ahmad."
I'm Ahmad,
and then I'm like, "Oh." You know, and it seems like you're just so arrogant and you don't want, and you know, standoffish and like not interested in being friends. I just didn't know how to respond to that.
I mean, kind of like an NPC, like, you know, you only respond to these. Maybe you have to introduce yourself if, you know, in certain situations. Otherwise, you're like,
if it's scripted in the code.
Yeah. And then if you send something that they don't process, you're like, yeah. Like, cool. Or like voice assistants. Sometimes when you say something they don't understand, they're like,
here are some Google results. Yeah. So like now I'm like consciously going like be approachable, and like I definitely can see the benefits already of like having friends. Some of these people that I've talked with, like,
really help to develop yourself.
And I'm looking forward to making more friends. I mean, I've just been in university for 2 weeks, so I have a lot of time to make friends and become a better person, and inshallah help others too. So yeah, that's do we leave anything?
I don't think so.
I guess,
just a bit of a recap. Like, first of all, this is the Oskida definition of friends. Is how we define it just now?
We just have personal definitions of friends.
Like
there shouldn't be one definition that fits all.
That's the who
we consider as
friend. This is like the definition. What is a friend?
I mean,
is the person that we have a certain degree of
closeness with them.
Yes,
and a criteria that you should have in your definition of friend is someone who helps you become a better person and you help them become a better person.
That's our criteria.
Basically,
our role, the role that we put.
Basically, a person who like help each other to grow.
Yeah.
I would say that if that person doesn't help you grow, they're not a friend. You just spend time with each other. But it's not a friend, because a friend would have that social responsibility. A friend who cares. A friend who cares. A friend should care.
Yeah.
If they don't care about you, they're not a friend.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, there's that.
So it goes into the definition for me.
If they care, then they should help to make you grow.
Yeah. If they are a friend, they should care. And if they care, they should help you to grow. And you yourself would want to.
If they don't help you grow, or if they do not care, or if they care but they do not help you grow, then that is just...
They don't care if they don't help you grow.
They think they care.
That doesn't matter. They don't. The fact is they don't
because
care.
I think some people define it as they do care, but...
If they don't do anything, they don't care. You know?
Yeah.
They just believe that they care.
So, yeah. But like, however you believe the level of careness is, if they don't help you to grow...
They don't care.
That is the thing that can lead to like a toxic relationship.
See, that is no longer a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a relationship.
But it's not a friend.
But it's on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yes. So,
I almost say factum, which is
an
IKEA
wardrobe. So yes, a friend is like someone you spend a lot of time with, like you have close relationship with, etc., etc., and cares for you, thus helps you grow, and you in turn help them, because friendship is not just a one-way relationship, it's a two-way relationship. A. B. What's the other conclusion? Meeting people. No, we don't need to conclude that. Yeah.
That's just experience.
Yeah, that's just our talk. How's your experience in meeting people? How do you usually meet people? What are your experiences meeting people? And how do you usually perceive people? And how do you define friends?
How do you define your friends? Like, define friends as well. Like, there may be something that we missed out.
Yeah. And a friendship impacts you a lot, even if you don't realize it. It does. There's no way you can say friendships don't affect you. It does, because everything that you do affects you to a certain degree. And if you have a friend, obviously you spend a lot of time with them. And if you spend a lot of time with them, that would affect you a lot.
Everything that you do and everything that happens around you. So having a friend or not having a friend, that will impact your environment.
Yeah.
And in result, what you do.
Yeah.
And then in result, you in general,
Yeah. So yeah, that is
basically it about making friends
and being a friend and what is a friend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave us some feedbacks. Like, what are your thoughts on friends? How were your experiences in making friends? And what do you think you disagree with us about? Because we are not correct. Nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. Also, please do not be offended if someone doesn't think that you're a friend. It can be such a personal offense to some people, and then just breaks relationship. And it's so sad to see,
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, it's not that other person doesn't regard that person as a friend at all. They just perhaps don't see them as a friend yet, or something. Maybe like...
it's still a potential.
Yeah.
And
then suddenly the relationship is just off because like, that person's like sent off. It's just like, like some people need some bit of time. Some people take a while to open up themselves. So, yeah. As long as you're just helping each other out, that's cool. that's good enough. The most that you want to be is a positive impact and a better person. Yeah. So that's it.
We're always looking for that 18-carat friend
In our everyday life.
And it takes a lot to see one, and it takes even more to be one.
No. It may take a lot to find that 18-carat friend, that friend that's perfect, but honestly, it takes way much more to become that 18-carat friend, that perfect friend. Yes. So, thank you so much for tuning in. How many times are we saying this? Thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave us some feedbacks, whether you disagree, agree, whatever your experiences, anything
could do.
that you want to share with us. This is a space for us to just like converse on stuff and talk, then become friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that friend that I have, like my first interaction with her, like that friend of yours who like a befriend now, my first interaction was through these comment sections, and I'm like, I like the sound of this person, and like the things she says, that's cool, and I look forward to meeting her. And it was like, when I went there, I was like, I am going to find her. And I was like, Ahmad, what's her, can you help me arrange a meeting where we can meet her? And we just met, and then we just talked, and so honestly, share your thoughts and etc. Together, we're just like trying to encourage this like kind of like conversations and stuff. Yes. So until next time.
Bye.